Okay, I'm not going to go through the SST.
Okay.
Because I really don't want to do it on
Is
the
it exactly
SST.
the same?
The only things that are different are, I think it's in here if I, nope. Somebody remind me where my, how do I change? Where do I go?
New patient.
No.
Where it says, this is interesting.
No.
Where
Oh,
you
darn it.
where you got like
I'm
whether
trying
Setup,
to do the
setup.
setup.
I think so.
enabled, disabled stuff.
Bless America.
More
just
settings?
Like,
More settings?
No. Is that it? Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! Damn.
Thank God.
So this would automatically come up. No.
Bingo.
Yes, it is. So this is how that looks now, where you would do the adult, pediatric, but that would also be on there. This one doesn't because I already did it. I have to turn it back off again.
Okay.
We have to change the volume for the heater to 550.
Okay.
Why?
So, because it's all based on the size of your chamber.
Isn't our chamber the same size?
Nope, not
Oh.
not of the other
Okay.
one. Like our adult one.
Because the circuit's smaller, the
Yep.
chamber looks...
Okay.
I see
And
it now.
this is actually bigger than the volume that we put in for adults. Adults is like
Really?
380 or something. I
Oh, because the
I think it's
float...
written down on the little list.
taller.
It
downstairs.
is.
Then
And
the
I have to
float
keep
is
going down
higher.
there to go find it. I'm going to have to
float
write
line
that
is-
somewhere else because I keep forgetting.
Interesting.
But that is going to be a test question.
Okay. What is
so-
it again?
550 is what we change it to.
Got it.
Leak-
Enabled.
Yeah, and leak sync now will
Blue to the
automatically enable when you hit non-invasive.
Okay.
So you should never need to re-enable it. It should automatically be there.
Okay.
So
We just have to make sure that that's at 550.
550, yeah. And then there is one, if you go through the SST,
got it.
did you already get it? If you go
Took a
through,
picture? No, I didn't.
because everybody actually liked these, wanted these pictures too.
Yeah.
And I'll take a picture of the disabled one.
Cool.
Not the disabled one, the only other thing with the SST that is different
So what did
when you're going through it is, there is one point where it says to, something about the proximal flow sensor. We're not
Okay.
using a proximal flow sensor in non-invasive, so it'll say to not use it, hit cancel.
How
Got
did
it.
you switch it to non-invasive?
I didn't yet.
Okay. I thought you
Or
said
I, it probably is, but it's in a different setting. I have to
Okay.
go through a few different things now.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna go through the SST, unless you really want me to.
No, we know how to do
Okay.
that. Yep.
I took all my little notes. So the calibration, when I get into it here, oh, I don't want to do that either. We'll hold, I should just stay on that stupid screen. God bless America.
For what?
Breathing?
Oh, it's working.
Yeah, she's breathing, yes. So calibration is, nope, not that one.
Shit's a cat ass ass,
That's
man.
the O2 sensor.
Yeah.
That's almighty. Where
You
am
have
I?
like 2 fucked up RTs.
Okay, I
I
swear.
didn't take it.
Oh, you
This
did?
was
No,
much
okay.
easier
I
before.
say, I
I
want to
just have
say.
my little armband on that I
Am I gonna
bought.
have to? I might have to actually do a.
Forehead.
Because I'd have my.
That's okay. I like to
I'm
see
getting
the full
skinny
don't
arm.
wanna do
Yeah,
that.
I
I've
know
got like
you
skinny
are.
Because then I feel
Yes.
Oh, I know why.
I got atrophy
So,
on this arm.
this
but
is-
it's
this is-
so
you'll see
my
it.
shoulders
Sorry.
and so like that.
When I
Oh,
hit
shit.
non-invasive on the setup screen, and then if I go to more settings, my calibration comes up now too. Take a picture of that.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well, then I'll get you hands free.
All right.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
This telephone.
Okay.
Okay, so when you do the calibration, you can
Go
it'll
back to the setup one.
it'll hold two. It'll hold a prong and it'll hold a mask.
Okay.
I have no idea until we start doing this what these doctors, who's going to order what. I have no clue. I know they all decided that they wanted the RAM, so I assume they are all going to just want RAM.
Okay.
If for some reason if they say like, oh, maybe we'll use the prongs as well, because you can use the bubble interface prong and mask as well. I'll show you that setup in a second.
Okay.
If you think for any reason that they might want to use both, calibrate both right away. Take the extra 2 minutes to calibrate both.
Okay.
Because then when you're switching from one to the other, all you have to do is toggle between, this would say mask and prong then.
Oh, okay, got it.
We may, I mean, this is going to be a trial and error kind of thing, and I'd be willing to bet the first time this happens, we're not going to know, like, the baby
Okay.
was doing crappy and now we want to go to actual CPAP. But if you do happen to know that, take the time to calibrate them both so that you don't have to do it later when you're
Got it.
switching.
Because could you have them hold CPAP and you calibrate it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's what they would be doing.
Okay.
So, I'm not even going to get into that yet. Hang on. You're going to hit prongs, and this is going to take 2 minutes. You're going to hit calibrate. Here again, it keeps telling us to remove the CO2 and the proximal sensor. This is assuming why these were made was for it to be used, for the cannula to be used as CPAP after an extubation.
Got it.
That is why this was made, not to be used solely for a baby that needs CPAP.
Just okay, got
So
it.
just so that you guys know the difference in why actually this started in the first place,
Yeah.
was just as a little bit of a step
Step
down from a baby that got extubated.
Okay.
And we were seeing that if we put them on high flow, they were failing, but if we put them on this, they would do well and not have to be reintubated.
Just like our adults.
That went to, they think it's CPAP, and now that's what they all only want to use. So that's the history of why we're doing this insanity.
Okay. Got it.
So when it said, was I already? Nope. I totally missed my window. God bless America. I didn't realize it. If I just keep talking, it's
Right.
gonna shut off on me. So that's why it's saying that we
Okay.
will not have those two on there. Then you would connect whichever you're using, and I am going to assume it's going to be these.
Okay.
And you are supposed to lay this down as if it would kind of be on a patient. So
Okay.
similar to this. Don't let it be hanging on the ground or just hanging off the vent.
Okay.
Okay, I'm coming. Hit your prong or your mask, and now it's going to be 2 minutes.
Okay.
So it is calibrating so that when I did all this before, and I was saying about we're going to have to tweak all those sensitivities, now because of the Neo mode, we are not going to have to tweak as much, if
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
Now the disconnect, we should not have to even mess with that desense now anymore at all. It's going to take all of that leak, and it's going to compensate for it.
Because
So in other words, they didn't have this calibration
When I
prior
first
to
did
this.
it, yep. So I'm actually thrilled that we waited.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. It's like when we use bi-level in adults where
Yes.
there's that constant disconnect.
Correct.
Okay, but we
So
won't
this
have
won't
to worry
be.
about that.
So actually, on
Potentially.
these 3 vents,
Besides for
you could use that leak
sync.
sync
Right.
for adults too. But only on these 3.
I
But just when we
Unless
have them on-
unless we have it on.
bi-level.
It's leaks. You can
Is there a leak?
sync and enable
Can you?
on all of them.
I didn't know that.
I leak sync enable.
Oh, okay. But is it already or is it disabled mostly? I
It's
didn't hit that.
disabled. I
Okay.
enable.
I did not know that. Okay.
That's part of my check
Still
off.
1 minute. So how this is going to happen
Really?
is a lot of times it's going to be babies born. They had to do CPR or whatever, and they think baby's going to need CPAP or NIPPV, 2 different things. The NIPPV is going to actually give breaths. CPAP is just CPAP. NIPPV is actually going to give breaths.
Like AVAPs.
Yes. But just with a pressure, a rate, and an eye time is all it's going to be.
Okay.
Like AVAPs.
So
Yes. Yep.
you have the baby who's going to be on CPAP, does not go apneic.
Okay.
Usually the babies that go on NIPPV are ones that have a lot of apnea.
Okay.
And this little spurt keeps them from having apnea spells. So
Got it.
that's kind of somewhat the difference why they would pick one or the other. Okay, make sure I'm doing everything. Get in this setup, get comfortable with, this is not a must, but get comfortable throwing your weights in, because when we, just like we would with the adults, because when it comes to intubated kids, everything is based on that weight,
Okay.
and they will make adjustments to the 0.1 based on
that way.
that tidal volume.
And that's their actual weight, or
We are actually
ideal?
actual.
Got it.
Everything is actual.
And is it in kilograms?
It is in kilograms, yeah.
Because that is how they get measured, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is in kilograms, yeah. So just, it's not a must for this, because again, it's not invasive.
Right.
But just get used to putting it in.
Because then we'll be set for when
Exactly.
we do. Okay.
Okay, so the 2, I want to make sure I'm doing everything. So CPAP would be your first one. Why is it not giving me, I don't know what's going on here.
I wonder if it's because it's not in standby.
And I never had it in standby before. That's why I'm wondering. Here it is. I don't know why that all went away. So NIV CPAP would be your first one. The only thing you need to set up in here is your FiO2 based on whatever.
Okay.
Usually you're asking them when they come back and they say bubble or high
Right.
flow, their FiO2 is, that's what you set it at.
Cool.
You're only setting your PEEP. I don't know why this defaults to 3. We would never use that.
Okay.
Let's turn this down. Oops. And that's all you'd be setting on this screen.
Okay.
2 flashing lights tell you that TA is your apnea time and your apnea detection is disabled. We want it disabled.
Okay.
If they are in CPAP, that means they are fully spontaneously breathing on their own. They're not an apnea-prone baby, which a lot
Okay.
of these preemies are.
Yep.
So,
This is not NIPPV. This
not
is
yet.
for
This is
CPAP.
just CPAP.
Okay.
So, these all of these babies, they're already on a cardiac monitor. We do not need this to tell us that they're going apneic, and the cardiac monitor to tell us we're going apneic.
Right.
Too many alarms. So we want
Okay.
that off. If you would go into apnea, that's going to tell you it's off as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to have this all written down on little cards I'm going to hang right here on all 3 vents.
Yes.
And it'll say, like, CPAP mode, TA, keep off.
Got it.
Pictures. You're gonna have pictures. Like hers.
I'm going to have pictures in a book, but on here I'm not having all these pictures. We would have like 50 pictures.
That's fine. And you
I'll
know
have
what
that
we
in
can
the
do?
book.
Exactly. And we can put that right by the stock.
Exactly.
That's perfect. 'Cause
Perfect.
then everybody knows exactly where to go if they need it. But
And
they'll
some
have
of
the,
this might change because I do not know these doctors at all.
and they might want it
So
run
this is going to
different.
be, basically this is going to be the hardest way possible,
Okay.
and it might be easier than I think.
Sweet.
I am assuming that they are going to order their backup settings,
Okay.
because we would be far too dumb to know what a backup setting would be.
Right?
So
will.
I am assuming that they're going to order a rate of 20 to 30,
Okay.
pressure of 15, eye time 0.35 to 0.4.
Okay.
Again, your O2 is going to be, it's never going to be 100. It's going to be what they're ish on.
Okay.
But there either will be ordered backup settings or we will make them up. I will have on a little placard what they should be if they
Okay.
happen not to order them.
Got it.
Again, I asked them what they're going to be doing and they will not tell me, so I have no way of knowing what they're going to do.
Okay.
But that will be where I put on here, if they're on CPAP, this is what they should order, and ask if they want to order backup settings.
Okay.
I'll put that right on there. So that's under apnea. Under your under your alarms, this is CPAP, remember. Rate is off. We do not want that on. And your peaks, truly, you can max and min these out.
Okay.
This is supposedly never
it's
going to
CPAP.
occlude, so
Okay.
we do not need those. If you want to set them like we normally do, but it's going to be a lot of changing. It's not going to
Got
be
it.
as specific because it's not included. There's no
No.
cuff. There's no nothing. So this one will always be off. Where do we want to go? Let's go back to event.
Let's see.
Is that why the alarm is always off whenever we set up a new patient?
Which
the,
one?
The rate alarm?
That's a good question.
I think ever since we had the neonate vents, I think.
I
'Cause
honestly have
they
no
always
idea.
are
It
on,
is
right?
the last 2 vents I initiated were
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
even.
I wonder.
NICU vent.
And even the regular vents, the hard
And that
vents.
shouldn't be.
Yeah, you always gotta come.
I always
scroll
have to,
what
I
it
always
is,
have
yeah.
to go and change the rate
that's at
on
the top,
the
yeah.
alarm to, because it's always at off. I bet you that's ever.
It's only because
Sure.
it is, I bet.
Yeah. Which I just so I mean that's good to know why, because I'm like, why does that always start at off now?
I
Okay.
never knew that.
Okay. Now that I think about it, I'm just like, that gives us
Well, now
a
you
reason
know.
as to what. Yeah. Learn something new.
Yeah. Piece it
Observant.
together.
Can I
Yeah.
PTV?
Observant, Christine.
That's
Very
right.
observant.
Yeah.
If they would want, like I said, you have your baby that's kind of apneic, and they want them to have a rate, you're going to be NIV. AC for the most part, PC automatically comes up, and they will be ordering your rate, your pressure, your eye time, FiO2 based on SATs.
I
and
didn't
P.
understand that.
Oh,
I
that's
said
good.
you're crazy.
So that's what they're going to order. Again, you're going to have, I assume they're going to order backup settings. Your apnea time, we can ask them what they want.
Okay.
I'm going to assume, and I will have this on there, it's going to be 60 seconds.
Got it.
Because the cardiac monitor is going to alarm.
Right.
You're not going to want this sucker to alarm.
So it'll extend out.
So-
There's the alarm, and then the kid's gonna. Okay.
So but you can't max this one out. So, and then under the other alarms, similar, that one's off. You can do what you want with these. Low alarms for these are all going to be off because we don't want it to alarm. It's not invasive. And then these just set a little bit higher so that they're not alarming. So that's the easy part. So I think actually that is truly it for this. I wanted to show you though. I'm gonna have all 3 of these ventilators. Oh, let me go back to this. I think it's in here. Layout 5, patient data, preset 5, is going to be. I don't have it completely tweaked yet. But the IENDIF and the PEEP-IF, when we calibrate it, so it is measuring now right here.
Okay.
With this one, it's measuring right at the mask.
Okay.
So they will have what the actual PIP is, and they will have what your actual PEEP is at the interface.
Okay.
So just in case they're wondering, like, what are they losing, what are they getting?
And the eye is interface?
Yes.
Perfect.
Why isn't that giving me a volume?
Not pressure of
anything?
inspiratory.
I was going to try. No, because it's actually on expiratory.
Okay.
It is actually on exhalation. I was going to try and mock here. So with this leak percent, it will keep. I have a bigger leak. It took 1 breath to get rid of it. If you watch again, I'm going to try and make it bigger. Bigger leak. It'll take care of it.
Sure.
It takes 1 breath for that, and if you're kind of watching, it was going from like 70 to 100. It will take care of leak sync. Will take care of all of your auto triggering and your delayed triggering for the babies.
Dang.
Also, a reason I did not want to put this on here because
Right.
if those suckers were auto triggering, there is nothing we can do.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
So those are just 2 things that, if you're actually paying attention to what it's doing, it's taking care of that 99% leak, and it will do it in 1 breath.
Sweet.
So, but if this is one of the waveforms that I'll try and mock, so I can have it in that book as well.
Yeah.
So if it's, let's see how good I can make it here. It's too hard to
Put it on my
make
face.
it
Put
completely
it on my
auto.
face.
It's a completely auto trigger. Oh, I have it completely open. But if it looks almost like there's water in it, and it's
Yeah.
totally like an adult would auto trigger because they have
Okay.
a really bad leak,
Yeah.
this would take care of it. If we had, I've never thought to do it, but if you really had a bad leak on some of these cuffs that we had, if we would just enable leak, it would have taken care of it.
Oh man. Yeah, we're definitely have to try that.
And I've
I
never even thought of it before. So it should take care of any leak that happens.
Shira's the one who had me.
Doing that?
Yeah, don't you? I remember her.
But she would have had baby, right? Like when she had babies, right? So that's interesting, because I never would have even. That's awesome.
So that's it.
Okay.
For now, I'm going to have all 3 set up for NICU.
Okay.
Because I need to keep one for training for Corey and for us. And then we need 2 to be used. 2 will always be in NICU, in
Okay.
our supply room.
How many do we have?
3 total.
I was
So
gonna say there's 2 in the ICU right now.
there's 2 up here. I have all 3 of them up here, and I stole them days ago.
The Puritan
Yeah.
Bennetts are in there, but
My
not
name is
Nikki.
my name is on them. No touchy. So I'm setting them up today.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we should keep all 3. I don't know. I'm just gonna we're gonna wing it. I don't know. Right now, that's totally fine. I don't know if
Maybe for
I don't think we're gonna use 3 of them right away.
No,
So
I don't
would
think
like
right
to
away,
keep-
but I could see.
2.
Yes.
I could see like if you had twins
In the future,
or
I can see, especially once we get to be a level 3, which is going to happen again.
Well-
I don't know when.
I also foresee once one gets ordered, all of them going forward.
Yeah.
Being ordered
And
like
just
this.
so that you know, we only have 3.
Okay,
And
right,
you
yeah.
have to tell them. So in my perfect world, I don't know if we'd be able to do this. I would never have all 3 set up. We always had to have 1 backup.
Yeah. What if we get like itty
So
itty
if
bitty?
you have, but what I can see here is we do have bubble
Yeah.
if something goes wrong with the ventilator, like it dies, because we always had a backup in a level 3 ICU because you can't I mean, you have to
Yeah.
have something. If something goes wrong with a ventilator, you always have to have a backup.
I
But
never
we
thought
have
of
bubble.
that when we got out of ventilators
Yeah.
that we didn't have.
We didn't have
We had a transport. We had 1 transport. That was it.
but we do have bubble to fall back on.
Mhm.
So we could set up 3 if we had to, but I will, once we're done with the training, I will probably have 1 to stay as an adult. It'll get used more.
Okay.
and we're just gonna go from there.
Yeah.
I forgot. Okay, so I showed you guys this the last time. Guess I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to make this thing self-cycle. If this is the best. When you guys know, this would be better on an adult,
Mm-hmm.
a full CPAP as opposed to putting a RAM cannula or,
Right, or
an
high-
OptiFlow
Yeah.
cannula on them. So if, in my opinion, if a baby is doing bad, you guys still should offer, hey, would you like us to keep them on this and put them on a regular interface so that they can get better CPAP? That is not a bad question, and they hopefully will never yell at you. Actually, Catherine was one of them, I believe, that got yelled at about that.
Oh,
We're
really?
talking about Catherine a lot about that. Yeah. But that would be my escalation.
'Kay.
That would be appropriate because they're trying really hard not to intubate. So if you don't want to intubate, it's worth a shot.
Heck yeah.
This would come off. So with our Neo ventilators, this comes with it. This is how it's set up. This would come off. They call it a mushroom cap.
Oh.
And these just fit right on there.
Nice.
So it will be all the same headgear, all the same things apply with bubble, 90
good.
degree, blah, 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 blah.
Good.
The biggest thing with this is they have to have an 8 French OG. This is such good CPAP that their bellies will, as bad as they get when they're on this, just a regular bubble CPAP.
Yeah.
This is a lot of flow for them and their bellies. That is the only problem we've ever had with this is their bellies get really, really big.
Okay.
So I will have that on there as well.
Sweet.
Question.
Yeah.
So I know with that you'll have your chin strap, whatever. But with the RAM cannula, are we taping it to their cheeks, or how?
We've
how is that
decided
gonna
we're
be
just
easier?
going to use Tegaderm.
Okay.
They make these square, like, Band-Aid kind of things that kind of flap over. They don't hold well. Almost everybody that I've talked to down there, if they've used a RAM, they've used it, and no one likes it. So it sounds like we're going to do Tegaderm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at one
Tegaderm
time,
for babies, but...
refresh my memory because it's all very confusing.
Oh, yes.
We had the OptiFlow interfaces,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Now those are compatible.
So they totally are.
Okay.
It was the doctors that didn't want them.
And originally that was our plan, though, right? Was that we could
You are-
escalate?
So
You are
instead of
correct.
doing RAM, we could use the OptiFlow
You
interface with this.
Definitely
But they
could.
want
I do not
this.
approve of any of them.
Okay.
They just didn't approve of OptiFlow because there's nothing written on an OptiFlow.
Got it.
Like, they don't even realize, like, it's the same damn thing,
It
you
is.
morons.
And we already have it, and we're already
And that
used
was the
to
biggest
it.
thing, that was why I was...
Because it
Like,
escalates.
Todd thought I was fighting for it because I believed in high flow nasal cannula. Like, no, I already own the OptiFlow.
We have it. We
Let's
spent
have
a
1,000
lot
of
of
them.
money. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Right. It's not that we're
So truly,
opposing this. It's
say
that
we
we already
didn't-
have the stuff.
if we didn't have a size or something,
Sure.
you
could go-
totally...
Got it.
They just, because there's no actual real studies that say this is better anyway, but the only studies that have been done are
Are-
with RAM.
And that's what they know.
And every study very specifically says, one actually very specifically says that we as like the NICU, chose to return to bubble CPAP because that was the only one that was actually proven. But when they read that to me, all these meetings that I get yelled at in, they omit that line. Like,
Right.
Why
Like,
would you omit that line?
it's everything that they do, they omit.
yeah.
This is not standard
It's
practice.
it's
This
a
is
little
not the
shifty.
golden rule.
No, it's not.
But
I did.
don't anybody ever say that because you'll get in trouble.
Oh, no,
You
I
will
know
so
it
get in
is.
trouble.
I did get to talk to a NICU nurse from Children's.
Really?
Yeah, she had gone through faith confirmation. She went to Concordia College and she's nursing down at Children's.